This is Paul. Yes. I just wanted to call. I got this law dictionary out. Yes. See this word single, one only, unattached, standing alone. Unmarried individual. Yeah. Now, I mentioned this dissolution of marriage. In fact, I downloaded a copy of it so as to remind myself exactly what it is. Yes. Um, just looking over the court case history. Yeah. Um, I did not get actual notice of the court hearings. I didn't get a dissolution of marriage as much as you might think that I would want to be married. Yes. I don't. I like to be single. Yes. Now, I noticed in the this trial of Kirk setting, yeah, 122, 2013, yeah, I didn't actually get notice of that. Mhm. I didn't get the parenting plan, the final order, the order for support, the residential time summary report, or the findings of fact and conclusions of the law. Yes. Now, yesterday I was at the library and I downloaded what is known as Appendix 1 from the Superior Court of Washington, yeah, in regards to the marriage of the petitioner Haji Lee Budnick and the respondent Paul Chad Budnick. Yeah. This was a request for entry of decree and declaration of jurisdictional facts, a dissolution of marriage. Mhm. This looks like the form that you use in courts where the petitioner requests immediate entry of findings of fact, yes, conclusions of law, and decree of dissolution of marriage without a final hearing. Yeah. Now, I think this would probably be used for a default dissolution of marriage. Hmm. And just looking at it, yes. On 8/27 of 2012, there was a motion for default dissolution of marriage. The kind of dissolution of marriage where you don't have an actual final hearing. Yeah. Now, from August 27th until February 11th of 2013, yeah, you had quite a few hearings where I did not get any notice of them. hmm hmm Now, somebody would have had to fill out a form in Clallam County, yes, where Commissioner Baisden denied the motion for the default dissolution of marriage, yes. But it says here I was a resident of the state of Washington when the petition was filed. Now, the petition was filed on May 24th of 2012. Yeah, you arrested me at the same moment as serving me on the 29th of 2012. Now, the date on which the petition was filed and the respondent signed a joinder. I didn't sign that. Yeah. The respondent signed an acceptance of service. Nope, I didn't sign that. The summons and the petition was personally served upon the respondent at the time of his arrest. When you put the respondent in jail, yes, so that he could not respond to the dissolution of marriage. The summons and petition was mailed pursuant to an order for service by mail. Yes. Now this was interesting to me because see this declaration of mailing on 9/25 of 2012. Yes. Was there a court order pursuant to order for service by mail? Because I'd like to know, Brent Baisden. Yes. What actual address was put on that? Because I see there's a declaration of mailing. Yes. But I don't see where there's a court order pursuant. I see that the mail is returned unclaimed. Yeah. Now, the summons was first published pursuant to an order for service by publication. And then there was default has been taken or default has not been taken. Now, when you motion the court for default dissolution of marriage, yes, I'm thinking that Heidi Lee Hodges, because the wrong name and the wrong signature on that, yeah. You must have denied the default has not been taken. Now, it says here marriage and separation. Yeah. The parties were married on at city, state, and separated on. Did she put Kosovo as a non-existent nation at that time, as an actual city and state in the state of Washington? Because when it doesn't say the parties were married on December 19th of 1999 at the non-existent nation of Kosovo. I think these forms, they don't think that you're actually going to put a different nation. Now, let's say you say the parties were married on December 19th of 1999, or might have been 2000, yes, at Vancouver, Canada. And they were separated on Guam when my wife abducted my sons. Now, I'm going to want copies of that because I never got to see the actual motion for default dissolution of marriage. Now, when you just look at it, these county forms, do they usually include a nation that you were married in or a non-governmental organization? Now, just looking at it, okay, my sons were taken because you decided to issue a dissolution of marriage that was issued from the United Nations as a marriage certificate. Now, I'm kind of thinking that when I inform you, I haven't gotten any phone calls, and I was just going to go through the court rules this evening, Clallam County. Now, when I told you to give me my sons, you decided that you just weren't going to do that. I decided you were going to go to prison, and as much as you think I'm wrong in calling you perverse fools, Sheriff, you have got to be the biggest bunch of fools that ever wore a badge. Now, I've been telling you for the last 3 years, yes, that without proof of service, right, and when the petitioner motioned for default dissolution of marriage, no, and you denied that it was a contempt of court because I responded within the 90 days, yes. And you just won't acknowledge my rights as a father. Now, going through the court rules of each and every county of the United States, I'm sure one of them, right, has actually dissolved the United Nations marriage certificate. Now, I included this in the email that I've been sending. Yes. Let's look at it again because as I see it, I had put a little sign here right there. Yes. I was at the library yesterday and I wanted you to realize that Heidi Lee Budnick entered into a contractual relationship, a contract. Now, there was a sign here. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Did you get a picture of that in the email? Mm. Now, the actual date of the marriage. Hang on just for a second. I know it's on here someplace. Well, it was the year 2000. There are 492 marriage certificates issued. Yes. That because the 492 and then there's like a slash, and it was on December 18th of 2000. Now, why don't you get me all of the court forms for dissolutions of marriage from every county of the United States that does allow for the dissolving of a marriage certificate from the United Nations? Now, when I told you I want my sons, you perverse fools, there is no possible way that you had any authority or any power to dissolve this marriage certificate. Now, I want that phone call because the municipality was Jacova. Yes, yes, it was. The marriage certificate was from the United Nations Interim Administrative Mission in Kosovo. Yes. And as smart as you think you are, I'm going to want to sue each judge in Clallam County for being perverse fools for thinking right now. I want a phone call, Big Tell.